Squid Game, a show that took the world by storm and became one of the most recognizable TV dramas of all time. With only one catch. It was made by Netflix. With only one season of Squid Game, people of course wanted more. More drama, more games, more of Kang Se-byuk. In response, Netflix turned the sickeningly relatable drama into a reality game show that promised to be a faithful recreation. Squid Game: The Challenge. When it came out back in 2023, it was obviously super controversial and had the entire commentary community foaming at the mouth for content.
Netflix went hog wild with making it as insufferable as possible.
Thank you, Critical. Now that's been a little while, and with season 2 of Squid Game being a thing, I thought I'd take a look back at the reality show to see if it really was that bad. Let's reel it back a little bit. The year is 2021. Squid Game is literally everywhere, all because everyone around the globe can relate to the struggles that the show represents. Being a broke-ass individual. I know I relate to that at least. In June 2022, Netflix would finally capitalize on Squid Game's success by hiring Studio Lambert and The Garden, two media production companies based in the UK. Mistake number 1. Hiring British people. These two companies, the former of which being known for inhumane work environments, foreshadowing, would join forces and work together to make Squid Game in real life. You know, the game where desperate poor people are dehumanized and pitted against each other in dire animalistic situations for the sole purpose of being entertainment for the shadowy wealthy elite that look down upon them and see them as less than parasites despite using them for profit. Those games? A little bit on the nose there, Netflix. The show released in November of 2023 and obviously became the biggest show on Netflix for 2 weeks straight. Critics even called it damn good television and a morally righteous reality show. Yeah, because there's nothing more morally righteous than real-life Squid Game. The show righteously starts off with contestants getting picked up in dark, sketchy areas by unmarked vans. We then get introduced to the first game of the reality show, Red Light, Green Light, as well as a bunch of different players, some of whom become main characters later on in the show. Each one of these players have their own reasoning for being at the games, ranging from a few people just wanting to have some fun, to a majority of people who are in serious debt through various means and took this as a last-ditch effort.
What's that like to be able to pay off your house? What's that like to be able to pay off your car? I know these may be simple dreams, but what's that like?
Jesus had to compete. That means I have to compete. You control your own destiny.
Wow! This is just like the original Squid Game. From the sets, to the clothes, to the morally questionable existence of the whole thing, even the music and sound effects are exactly the same. At first glance, that seems really impressive. And it is, until you think for a moment and remember what happened in the original show. People down on their luck and in serious debt were preyed upon by the orchestrators of the Squid Games and given a serious opportunity to make it out of poverty. This made you feel for the characters as their struggles were relatable to our everyday lives. The reality show is no different, but these people are not actors. These are real people with very real struggles, which makes it all the worse when the inevitable happened. Oh my god, they're dead! Oh no! Anyways, as you'd expect, the game is followed by personal drama, then Dalgona, the cookie game. Remember this for later. Afterwards, a new game, Battleship, is played, and the survivors then do a player elimination vote, followed by a dance break. What was that? Then they play marbles and a bunch of people die. Another player vote takes place. The glass bridge game finally happens, followed by the dice game. And after that, another new game is introduced, Circle of Trust. 3 players remain at the end of Circle of Trust and they get the finale dinner, just like the original Squid Game. A dude pushes a button and dies, followed by the final 2 contestants playing rock, paper, scissors, instead of the actual Squid Game like the original drama, and player 287, Mai, wins the game. Okay, so with all that foundational stuff out of the way, what about the eliminated players? You know, the dead ones? Okay, well, they're not actually dead. That would be ridiculous and legally convoluted. See, they're just forced to pretend to be dead and lay on the ground until the game is over for nearly every game in the entire show. Man, filming a desperate person's hopes and dreams literally fading out of their eyes as they're forced to play dead is so much more humane than the original alternative. Okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. What the fuck are we doing here? I mean, seriously. What the hell? Almost every single game in the reality show eliminates people like that. The only time people don't have to play dead are in the battleship game, where an ominous red light turns on above them, and the glass bridge game, where they fall into an endless abyss. Which leads me to the main point I'm trying to make here. That this reality show can be simply described as entertainment over humanity. Not only are all these very real people treated as nothing more than fictional characters, but they're also toyed with in an attempt to foster an environment rife with drama and mistrust. The show accomplishes this through a variety of means, all of which I'll refer to as social experiments, because that's exactly what they are. The first instance we see of this is when two people are selected to do a chore together, which was something not in the original drama. These two players are told to peel carrots, given some time to talk and get to know each other, and then are forced to make a choice.
Attention players 101 and 134. You have been selected to take a test. You can give one player an advantage in the next game, or you can choose one player to eliminate. Your decision will be anonymous and will be announced tomorrow.
This is insanity, actually.
They end up choosing to eliminate someone and then go back to peeling carrots. Once they're released back into the dorm, the player they chose to eliminate is publicly taken away into a hallway and probably shot in a corner or something. I don't know. This leads into the next social experiment, where after the poor dude is eliminated, food using the peeled carrots is given out to the players. It's made a pretty major point in the reality show that the food tastes terrible, with multiple players saying it tastes like plastic.
How is it?
Disgusting. Tastes like plastic, no joke.
Shit, I'd be complaining too. Oh, I guess decent food just didn't make it into the budget and Netflix just wove into the challenge or something. Later on, in a completely different episode, a telephone is introduced to the dorm. While everyone is hanging around wasting time, the phone rings and the guy who picks it up is given a reward. A burger and fries.
Player, do not hang up this call until you are told to do so. As a result of answering this call, you will be given the opportunity to enjoy a treat.
Oh, dude, is that a cheeseburger?
No way. Is that actual food?
The resulting scene is just animalistic. Hundreds of people swarm this guy, yelling over each other, fighting and clawing at slightly better food. As if that wasn't terrible enough, there's another experiment that not only uses food against the players, but also actively manipulates them. A few episodes down the line, after an experiment involving Jack-in-the-Boxes, the remaining players are told 5 of them are needed for a chore, and if they're successful in it, everyone in the dorm gets a treat. Which is all said in the most dystopian way possible.
Attention players. 5 players are required for a chore.
Sauce? Hell no.
If they manage to complete this chore, there will be a treat for the dorm.
The chore is squeezing enough orange juice for the entire dorm, to which the players are successful. Everyone celebrates their win, and it's revealed that the treat is a friendly picnic with different breads, cheeses, foods, and orange juice. The players just need to choose someone to share their moment of respite with. So Netflix could afford decent food for everyone. Huh. Literally 3 minutes later, while everyone is enjoying their decent food, players find marbles hidden in their baskets, and it all clicks that this treat was actually a segue into the next game. Their picnic partner unknowingly became the person they have to eliminate. Sure, it's kind of a creative way to get people to partner up with their friends, but they intentionally gave players terrible food just so they could use actually edible food to lure them into a game later on. These people are being treated like lab rats. Again, these experiments weren't in the original drama. They were created specifically for this show. I didn't even mention all of them. There's more. Anonymous elimination voting, where the first new vote for someone isn't anonymous. The Jack-in-the-Box test, where people were randomly eliminated or given an advantage, and a bunch more that I probably blocked out of my memory. All these changes and experiments were clearly added to try and create more drama and tension by Netflix and the producers. Again, entertainment over humanity. Not only is that statement made visible through the treatment of people as characters and the social experiments made to manipulate them, but is also clearly in the games themselves. Specifically, Dalgona, the cookie game. The whole point of Dalgona is to carve a shape out of the cookie with a needle. If the cookie breaks, it's game over. Pretty simple stuff. The biggest issue with this game, in a reality TV sense, is that the players knew what to expect and what shape would be easiest. To combat this, a change was made. People had to get into 4 equal lines, and the first people in each line had to decide the shape for everyone behind them. If the 4 leaders don't come to a conclusion within 2 minutes, then, well, squad wipe. This simple change led to, by far, the worst episode of any show I've ever witnessed. The main character for this episode is player 299, better known as Spencer, a 21-year-old software engineer from North Carolina. He was unlucky enough to be the 3rd person in line, and eventually the first. Him having to choose a shape for everyone behind him immediately takes a toll on him, and his anxiety takes over completely. Some people comfort Spencer, while multiple others glare his way and verbally berate him, especially player 432, Brighton, who has been the show's villain up to this point. When the leaders have to choose a shape, they all begin to harass Spencer as he stands his ground to not get the worst one. In response, the other 3 players bully him and tell him to man up and choose the umbrella. Spencer, while still suffering from anxiety, defends himself, to which he's treated as a bad guy and is told to show some respect and chill out.
Listen to me real quick. I want you guys to shut up real quick and listen to me for a second.
Go ahead, bro.
We got a minute and a half left.
I'll pick a freaking door if you listen to me.
Some respect, bro. Chill. Okay, relax. We got it.
You asking me to respect you and you're not listening to me.
Spencer then makes the hard choice so everyone can continue forward. His anxiety reaches its first peak and he keels over from nerves, nearly throwing up while the other 3 bully him from afar. As if things weren't sickening enough, the game then begins in complete silence, except for the constant licking noises from people softening their cookies. These licking montages appear in nearly each round and last up to a minute in some cases. The only time one doesn't show up is round 4, when the focus is shifted back to Spencer and his ongoing anxiety. Netflix makes him a focal point in the absolute worst way possible by constantly playing his microphone audio, which is just him nearly throwing up over and over. Breaking up this constant dehumanization are interview clips of Spencer, where we finally find out his reasoning for coming to the games. He's in debt because he's a cancer survivor.
I'm here because I want to be able to help my parents out financially. And I put that on the line, but I put that on the line for everyone else.
Then, in one final gut punch, Spencer's cookie breaks, and the camera focuses on him lying on the ground in a crumpled heap as his ink pack goes off and he's eliminated. As if that wasn't already sick enough, Netflix would go on to post that clip of Spencer all over their social medias, turning his anxiety attack and literal breakdown into nothing but an advertisement for Squid Game: The Challenge. Netflix, what are we doing here? Who's supposed to be entertained by this? This is just dehumanizing and disgusting. Not just fostering an environment for harassment, but using the mental breakdown of an in-debt cancer survivor as content and advertisement. Getting every last detail of someone falling apart? This isn't entertainment. This is horrific. What's crazy is this isn't even the end. There's still one more thing, and this one's massive. See, way back at the start of the show, during the red light, green light game, which takes place over a 5-minute timer with 30-second pauses, I had noticed a couple of things. One contestant couldn't hold a squat for 30 seconds. Wait, why are people laying down in the background? Why does everyone look cold? I made a note of these things, and when the show finally ended with player 287 winning, I went back to my notes on episode 1 and took to Google for research. One autocomplete result later, I found a news article. And then another article. And another. And another. According to Netflix themselves, the show was going to be Squid Game, but without any of the harm that's associated with the iconic drama. Quote, "The worst fate is going home empty-handed," unquote. Allegedly, what instead occurred was once again a focus on entertainment over humanity. You notice a recurring theme here? Firstly, Red Light, Green Light was filmed during a surprise burst of cold weather in the UK. Mistake number 2. According to multiple anonymous interviews, allegedly, before the game began, players were allowed to wear coats over their tracksuits, were given hand and feet warmers to help against the cold, and were told filming would take about 2 hours, with 2-minute pauses every time people were supposed to freeze in place. Again, allegedly, as soon as filming began, the warmers were taken away, players were forced to take off their coats, unzip their tracksuits to show off numbers and ink packs, and the promised 2 hours of filming eventually turned to 7 hours, with 15 to 30-minute pauses while people were frozen in place, all in weather that was at or below freezing. At least 3 people required medical attention for hypothermia and nerve damage. There's no allegedly required for that because Netflix and the producers themselves confirmed it. They also, of course, denied that any safety was breached and all precautions were taken. Except against, well, you know, the obvious.
Is it me or is it just abnormally cold?
The production was later independently investigated and closed with a reminder to the producers to plan properly for risks in any future filming. Remember, one of the production companies, Studio Lambert, already had allegations of inhumane work environments. This was, allegedly, their second time getting away with it. Allegedly. Now, looking back at what I noticed earlier with all this in mind, alleged or not, everything makes a lot more sense. People looked cold because they were. This person wasn't squatting for 30 seconds, they were squatting for up to 30 minutes straight, and people were laying on the ground because it was better than standing still. This controversy was one of only 2 things to gain traction in the news, with the other, of course, being... Oh no. Oh! What the hell was going on in the dorms to need those? Should have called the show Freaky Games. This has all been crazy. Like, everything about this show is just insane. Maybe insane is an understatement. Nothing about this show feels real. And yet, it is. As a reality show, Squid Game The Challenge sucks. You feel gross the entire time you're watching it because of how disturbingly real everything is. But as a Squid Game recreation, the show adheres to the source material and excels in nearly every way possible. Just like the original drama, the reality show took desperate people in need and put them into disturbing situations that pushed the limit of humanity, all for the sake of entertainment. Hell, the same can be said for the entire modern entertainment industry as a whole. People are used as a commodity and entertainment is sought at any cost. Especially here, where players were put through literal experiments and treated like lab rats, all in an effort to artificially stir up drama. Even going as far as forcing players to eat terrible food to manipulate and affect their decisions. And throughout all of that, Netflix and the production companies created an exact replica of a phenomenal show that they completely missed the point of. As if this entire show wasn't proof enough that Netflix missed the point of the original, an executive at the company was quoted as saying, "The thing is, Squid Game isn't about physical endurance, is it? It isn't about hardship. It's about games." Yeah, it's about games. Fucking games. But hey, at least we learned to never make a show like that ever again. Oh, come on. If you enjoyed this video, you'd probably really get a kick out of this one too. Shit. I think I forgot to cancel my Netflix subscription.